Sid's in his living room, sitting there. His wife and mother-in-law are in the kitchen, and they do what most people do. They both drop into a low mood and they start arguing. You have to realize every fight that happens in a relationship is two people in a low mood thinking it's a good time to talk about things. It's the only time people fight and argue and disagree and bang heads, right? So he sees that happening, and now it's totally understandable. And he realizes that's what everybody in the world is innocently doing. Unknowingly, we drop into a low mood, we become opinionated, argumentative, wedded to our beliefs, thinking we're right, you're wrong. You got to change your mind to be like me because I'm right and I know. Right? So he starts laughing at the cosmic humor of, here's the human dilemma. Oh my gosh. Unknowingly, innocently, we get caught up in low mood states. They heard him laughing. They assume he's laughing at them. They're pissed. They come into the living room, stand on both sides of a chair, and they go, okay, Sid, what do you think is so funny? And now put yourself in Sid's place for a moment. 9th grade education. He's experienced directly for himself the illusory nature of thought-created reality. And he's going to try to explain that to his wife and mother-in-law now. And he's going, how am I going to explain? It's all just thought in the moment. It's made up. It's arbitrary. It's created. He stands up and looks out the window. And all of a sudden, there's this big buzzing field of white light in front of him, and he felt like he got drawn into it. Lost all sense of ego, all sense of self, and there was nothing but seemingly infinite field of energy, full of aliveness. There was nothing but this feeling of being connected to the universe, a feeling of everything is perfect as it is, a feeling that would be impossible to explain. He had never had a feeling of this nature. If he talked about it, it would be ecstatic love or impossible to describe. There are many people who have had near-death experiences all over the world. They describe this same process. Go into a tunnel of light. I feel like I've lost my old, conditioned, cramped self. I feel open and expansive. I'm filled with love and compassion. So one time I said, Sid, did you have a near-death experience? And he said, well, I went into that. And in a near-death experience, at some point you go, okay, I'm coming back. And you don't go all the way through. He said, I went all the way through. Put yourself now in the position of Sid's wife and mother-in-law standing there. And Sid, for 4 seconds, turns around, looks out the window. And when he looks back, he's radiant, he's crying. He says to his wife, Pat, I've come home. I'm free. I've transcended the boundaries of time, space, and matter. He had to look up the word transcend. He had no idea what it meant. It just came out. I've transcended the boundaries. He said, you and I are going to travel the world, and I'm going to share what I've realized with people, and it's going to change the whole field of psychology and psychiatry. Could you imagine being his mother-in-law or wife, hearing him talk that way? Or if you had a friend who suddenly fell over and then got back up and said, "Oh my God, Michael, you won't believe what I just experienced." And they could not deny that something extremely powerful had just happened to him. It wasn't intellectual. Physically, he changed. He looked different. He went back to work after that weekend. He went to his locker at this pulp mill. The guy had a locker next to him for 13 years. He didn't recognize Sid. He had changed so much physically. If you imagine if I took out every bit of insecurity, every bit of unhappiness, and you're living in this feeling of deep well-being. I've seen clients who are clinically depressed have insights where they look 10 years younger. This scrunch, just suddenly they soften. They go, "Oh my God, I didn't know it was possible to feel this good." Well, that's all. He had a shift in consciousness or a insight or a realization. I don't care what you call it. He changed. He wasn't the same person. So people could say, "Well, I have no idea what your experience was, Sid. I'm very skeptical." But they couldn't be skeptical about the fact that he was a different person. And every single person noticed it. So he goes back to work and nothing bothered him anymore. He would do jobs that people used to hate. He said, "I'll do it. I don't care. I'm fine with it." Pretty soon his boss's boss, he'd never done this before, asked Sid to come into his office and talk to him for 2 hours. And he opened up about how much difficulty he was having in his life and with his wife. And he walked out feeling much better because Sid just talked to him about what he was realizing to be true about thought, about experience, about we're all the same. We all think. We all can be aware of the fact we think. And that when we go beyond our personal thinking, it's called being fully present. It's not a big deal. It's very ordinary. When he had his enlightenment experience, he said it felt very ordinary. I just was free of concepts.